No, in the context of this conversation, because we're talking about 30 years of democracy, right? Black church has not been there. Black church has been missing in action.
But not all of them.
No, I'm saying in general, black church. Show me, point and say, this is where, like, the impact of black church has been felt in these communities. I'm not asking, I'm telling you. Why is it that the Jesus of Bazalwane requires you to speak English, but Asikora? We're not there. Jesus, hallelujah, amen. God, why is it? I don't know if it's true or not. But having Fred Shibambu as Minister of Finance, check his credentials. Yes.
I get mad. They say VBS he stole.
Where are the charges?
No,
we don't talk anything outside of charges. But stop telling us that you don't eat food that has been spoke in you understand? Without even understanding that that's not even us. You're confusing the Roman Empire. You're confusing the culture of Rome to that of ours. We don't have many gods. We have one God. We've always had one God. For me, the parties that are worth entertaining, if you are about black people and black interests, are only three. Well, four. Well, the major ones.
ATM?
It's EFF.
Oz.
ATM.
Oz.
Umkhonto Wesizwe. Of course, PAC, because PAC has always.
ANC.
Who?
ANC.
Oh, wait. There's a name that your parents give you, but there's a nickname that whiteness is going to give you because they're going to fail to call you by the name that your parents have called you.
Sheeple.
The people who are for the land, but the people who are supposedly African but can't say one African word or name. You understand? Take out anything in this conversation. Throughout, the theme has been the harvest is plentiful, but the labors are few. Papa mani bazalwane baka Christ. Vukani. Open air, angile, please, man.
Our ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us once again on the Gospel Reality Podcast. I'm your friend, your brother, your uncle, Brato. And today we've got a return soldier. We've got a return soldier in the podcast. But before we go there, please make sure you like, subscribe, follow our content on all social media platforms, the GRP Podcast or the Gospel Reality Podcast. And before we move swiftly along today, our song of the week is a song that's not even out, you know. I got it when they were still rehearsing it. Isinqumo by Reginald Jabu Nkosi. Mr. Crazy Praise. He promised that he's going to come to the podcast. That guy has written, like, he writes that, he writes that gospel that, you know, that hits home, That hits home. So his writing style, man, I've been repeating that. And in Ghana, you know, it's like 5-10 seconds in Ghana. But, hey, man, I can imagine how it's going to sound like. So please, my brother, we're looking forward to that song. He said it's dropping somewhere in July, end of July. We're waiting with anticipation. And ladies and gentlemen, today I've got, like I said, a return soldier, a brother of mine. I'll call this man, I'll call him, and we'll spend an hour on the phone. I'm like, hey, fundile lentotale. Just a ball of wisdom, and I didn't want to get somebody outside the Christian space for this one because this one can get a bit sensitive, you know. And I thought, no, man, let me get this man because he's got a lot to say about a lot to say. And then after the elections, we said, but what is a Christian saying about these elections? As Abazalwane, you know, where do we stand? Do we have questions? Should we even entertain this thing of elections? Si votela uThixo, you know? And then when I said that to him on the phone, our conversation lasted about an hour and a bit. I've never had a conversation with him on the phone that lasted less than 30 minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't even need to introduce him. I've got NJ Kunene.
Brian,
how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you.
God is still good.
Very much for coming, my brother.
Yeah.
Again.
I was gonna say God is still good, even though we are under government of national unity. But I guess you jump in right there in there. And I wanted to say before we jump in, and I love that you flag the sensitivity around the conversation. I don't know why, but it's important because it can, they say if there's two things in social settings you never go for, it's religion and politics. So I'm glad that you started with, okay, it's sensitive.
So, the biggest thing I think in South Africa right now, right? We're obviously a Christian nation. Like you were saying, depending on who colonized us, we became Christian. Eh? We are a Christian nation, and if you listen to our national anthem, when the black people sing, no, it's a hymn. Yes, we get that. But when black people sing, they sing about God. But when people sing,
they sing about land
and the land.
Land. I love that you got there. I love that you went there.
So that tells us that
yeah.
We're looking at the same thing, but we're coming out with different results,
Yeah.
And I don't know if we were forced, but this has become our national anthem. And I don't know if we were forced, but we embraced it and we sing it, the Afrikaans part, the English part, the Zulu part, and the Sotho part.
Yes.
And we love it, we love it, we love it. Us Africans feel like, we know that, we believe in God. That has never been a secret. It translates in our national anthem, and we all sing it together. We put our fist on the chest, and we vow. We make this vow, and we sing along, and it's great. But what does the national anthem say to you?
The national anthem is the epitome of cheap peace to me.
The TRC Commission.
It's cheap peace. And I love how you frame it. We're saying God bless Africa. And then when it comes to other parts, it's about the land. There are so many things that are reminders of how we are like God's unwanted stepchildren, to borrow the words of Steve Biko.
Hey.
We are like unwanted God's stepchildren. That even democratic processes can be just kicked out the way because it was never about democracy. It was always about dominance. I was going to bring medicine and say James Madison talks about how okay, maybe let me not talk about James Madison. Let me say part of the reasons why people don't like politics, and Aristotle makes this point, is that there are always different interests that are at play, and these interests don't align with each other. They're always, against each other, right? So the interest of land, the interest of getting land without compensation versus the interest of continuous domination in the name of either using, forgive. If Berkshire
on the right,
you understand, in the turn the other cheek.
Yes,
right. These interests are not aligned. They are competing against each other, and so that's what then results in conflict, and that's why people don't like politics. But also, politics is about conflict and compromise. We compromise, and that's why we talk about a political settlement instead of a, you understand. So what happened? So what happened in? So James Madison says, Thomas Madison. Is it right? Is it James Madison or Thomas Madison? Let me say Madison. Yeah, it is Thomas Madison. He says, there are different interests, and when you align or when you push a certain interest, you become a faction, right? So you have different factions, right?
Talking about the
I
ANC,
wanna come there. Initially, that word did not mean the ANC, right? It just meant different interests.
Interests, 100%.
And if you push a certain interest, you are of a certain
100%,
faction,
yes,
right?
yes.
But when you say factions in South Africa, it's already divisive because you know what the fourth arm of government has done, which is the media. Like there's certain reporting that has happened that once I say faction, you think ANC. And the reason that is because ANC positioned itself as this broad tent, right? There were different interests there. So you had the left, right, who were pushing black consciousness and the land coming back to the people. And you also had the center right, right? Oh, I am an African and I owe my things. If I were to ask you now and say, how many economic policies have we had since 1994? We're not going to even be able to count them. But if I say RDP, you say RDP house, and a lot of people can point, there's the RDP house.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But because others in the ANC who were center-right, you know, talking about growing the economy, let the economy grow at 6% or whatever, and then there'll be that trickle down, you know, the economy moves from the top to the bottom. It's never happened. It's never happened.
Is it who says, there's a politician who says BE in its current form is not working. How about we make sure that the workers are the beneficiary of BE instead of enriching an individual?
Okay. I raise my hand and say, which workers?
The workers who work anyway.
So maybe let me
say you work at APSA.
Let me give context.
Instead of having at APSA a CEO, a black CEO, a black shareholder who will get billions in profits, take that and share it amongst the employees, and in that way you won't get strikes, you won't get what do you call it, these unions dictating, because if employees are getting their salary, they're getting their 12th check, and they're also getting their 13th check, and they're also getting dividends, no one can tell them to strike.
So that day is like, it's problematic on so many levels. But we don't have thriving unions in this country.
Yeah.
We do have, like, in certain spaces where we have unions, but like the government, the center right government of the ANC, together with the new liberal economic or global economic policies, together with white monopoly capital and whiteness, have made sure to demonize unions. And this is not just a South African phenomenon. Like, I promise you, in the States, they wish they had unions.
No, there's a lot of unions in the States.
But like, they're dead. I'm not asking.
No, in America, it's especially our industry, the entertainment industry. You see, in South Africa. All right, okay. Let's go to. I want us to go to Christians now, because if we start this one, we won't finish. So, I think the biggest thing for Christians, rather the drive we attempted as a Gospel Reality podcast, was getting Christians voting. I'm not saying Christians because Christian is broad in South Africa. You know, everyone is a Christian because we live in a Christian nation. So babati tik, it's a Christian. You know, I'm talking about abazalwane, people who are staunch Christians who go to church every Sunday, who believe in God, and a lot of them are, I would say, under the illusion that voting is not important. So when Ubabu Kenneth Mishwe came here, and the most important thing was asking him, how are you planning on getting Christians voting?
You see, as an active citizen, voting is the bare minimum. It's just the bare minimum.
Yeah.
as an active citizen. But now, as a Christ follower, what's the use of voting without understanding your individual place of ministry?
Too much.
I mean, this. The apostle, prophets, teachers, evangelists, and pastors are there to equip the saint for the work of ministry. We took the gospel of empire. We did not remove the poison that comes with the gospel of empire. That made it possible for us to other ourselves from our African brothers and sisters who follow African spirituality. We thought we were better because, okay, why is it, just as a antidote, why is it that the Jesus of Bazalwane requires you to speak English, but Asikora? Are we not there? Jesus, hallelujah, amen. God, why is it that the Jesus of Abazalwane requires you to speak English, but Asikora? So we did not take the thing that is life-giving and remove the thing that is poisonous. So then what has happened is we have created denominational empires in different spaces. Why is it? And I'm not talking to the church. I'm not interested in talking to the church. I'm interested in talking to black church.
Hey.
That's what I'm interested in.
Hey. Too much.
Why is it that our churches are closed on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays? Saturday, I have a cleaner or a worshiping team as a practice ama worshiping songs, and then Sunday, and then they're closed again.
Are you going back to that? What did they say, Ponzo? They said during the pandemic, the churches were closed because the government deemed them useless. Not really useless, but they're not an integral part of society. So are you saying now the church, and in your exact words, the black church needs to do more for the society they exist in?
I'm saying black church has been missing in action.
But
no, in the context of this conversation, because we're talking about 30 years of democracy, right? Black church has not been there. Black church has been missing in action.
But not all of them.
No, I'm saying in general, black church. Show me, point and say, there, this is where, like, the impact of black church has been felt in these communities. I'm not asking, I'm telling you, black church has been missing in action. And the reason black church has been missing in action, like, we've taken the gospel of empire and made it the actual gospel.
Too much.
I mean,
is it the work the God of the works versus the works of God?
Remember when I started, John says, when they ask him, what should we do? He says, give, don't hoard. But what do? We say, this is fertile soil. Give here, now, to the house of the men of God. And then we create special chairs. That does not speak to the priesthood of all believers. It speaks to the priesthood of some and not all. And so what happens is our version of the Great Commission is me going out there and saying, come to my church. That's our version of the Great Commission. Not saying, brighten the corner where you are. I'm that old. We used to sing, brighten the corner where you are. Like, we do not brighten the corner where you are. So a teacher in an environment of South Africa where most people have been excluded does not see themselves as God's agent in that environment to bring change. And so when all the other teachers who don't serve the same faith as them, as the teacher was a Christian, when they are giving bare minimum, what is the teacher also doing? Is giving bare minimum. So the believer who's a traffic officer, and so when traffic officers are over policing black spaces and taking bribes, what is the believer who's a traffic officer doing? He's doing the same thing. We don't carry it's not ingrained in us that our gospel, ours, is a message that is counterculture. Instead, what we've done is we've conformed to the culture. Right? So when Kenneth Ubabu Misho, like
say it.
When white believers are saying BEE is wrong, he says yes.
He says
yes. He says yes. Have you checked the ACDP's international?
Oh yes, he doesn't.
When white believers say no to affirmative action, he says yes, and he even campaigns on it's so cheap and easy to say family values. What do you mean? Okay, let's pause. Let's take it to the Bible. The book of Samuel talks about a holy man, a God-fearing man, who made sure that he makes room for God, not just for him, but for his entire family. His name was Elkanah. He was definitely not a Levite. He was from a different tribe. But he had two wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah could give kids, could bear children. Hannah could not. He loved Hannah. So whenever he would go to the temple, he made sure he gave Hannah a double portion. So when Hannah is sitting there, praying, and Eli thinks she's drunk, it's because of Elkanah. It's because of this godly man who's created room for his entire family. Without him, that whole encounter does not happen. I've never, not once, had and I grew up in the spaces of Bazalwane, hearing preachers preach on Elkanah. We always start with Hannah.
Hannah, you're right.
And then we go back. Why is that? So when we're going to talk about good family values, we close out Elkanah. And that's by design. So that the Elkanahs we see and know in our immediate environment, we can condemn them to hell. Our gospel is that of who's in and who's out. It's a morality gospel.
Sure.
It's not about power. I'm not afraid of the gospel. I'm not ashamed of the gospel because it's the power of God to save. It's not about power. It's not. It's not. And that's why the church, black church, is so infected. It's not even funny because we've created these small empires where we talk church politics but not real politics. Why are we even asking the question, can a Christian be political? Why are we even asking that question? Let me raise one further. Why is it that even in 2024, my vote is still a secret? Whilst we're doing this, brilliant young black men and women are suffering at the hands of good white men and women who are Christians, of good Christian white men and women who are Christians, who are going to say, oh, we have a beautiful progressive constitution, and forget to frame that it's actually our constitution that informs the legislation of triple BEE.
I wanna start with BEE. So BEE, right? Now it's triple BEE, ne?
Yes.
Triple BEE, broad-based black economic empowerment, right?
Yes.
According to your understanding, how does the black church benefit from BEE, and how does the church musician benefit from BEE? If you can just take me lap.
Okay, I want to come here and say, right now, the codes of good practice for the industry that is benefiting black church are still being deliberated by the Department of Arts and Culture and the Department of Trade and Industry, because there's not a specific field for musicians. We were having this chat, and I was like, and I think one of us was so heated because I had not gone to my church, and so I'm walking down to meet a friend, and as I'm walking, they play ingoma ka Mam Hlengwe Mhlaba, then Mam Tobegile, and I think Bab Solima Hlangu and Joyous Celebrations. People were part of an industry that is so unsupported that all the other industries have codes of good practice, but our industry, that's how much the church is sleeping when it comes to this thing. Right? So Joyous Celebration, every year without fail, they give us bobs. There are songs we sing from Joyous Celebrations, but like outside of going there and buying, which is like the final step, nothing, Chief. It's expensive to make music. You know how expensive it is.
It's expensive to make gospel music in particular.
Yeah, but like to create music is expensive.
Yeah, but gospel music
but let me show you,
is even tougher.
Let me show you. Somebody who believes the same way as Obab Mesho believes would say no to a state bank. No, let's not create a state bank. They will say that. Yet we have 4 banks in this country that are so anti-black that just getting a loan as a black person, automatically you're going to pay way more interest than your white counterpart. Or no, they're not going to give you funding. That's not happening. But when we look at triple BE, we're just like, we need to go beyond the age of sound bites and headlines and actually read for ourselves. Read for ourselves. I know just so utekane ngwana ntate. I know how leading ha ke batle tsebo ya ntho tsohle, but can we make sure that we equip ourselves so that our people do not perish because of lack of knowledge? That's what's happening now.
Do you think the black church can have something like a black bank? Because if we're going to talk about the major banks are still against black people, and the same black people are the ones who are giving money to black churches, and the black churches are the ones who are taking the money back to the white bank.
I love that.
Is a black Christian bank even a foresight?
Yeah, if we engage with church economy, we can definitely do that. There are a lot of things that are there are a lot of things that are at our disposal, that if we just moved differently, we could change the way this country functions in 10 years. In fact, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. But what we do is we have these mini kingdoms, these mini empires we've created for ourselves that plunder. Like most black people in spiritual authority are not different to politicians. A politician drives in deep suit, driving a German machine, and so is the pastor who's going to come and say, give here, this is fertile ground, also driving a German machine. We are obsessed with things and love of money that it is impossible for us to build for God's kingdom.
Hey, Bonzo, I'm hearing this man now. Wait, you have not answered me. Can the black church benefit from BE, and can a black musician? I know you answered me, but I think you didn't give me a definite answer.
All industries can benefit from triple BE.
Ne?
Let me be vulnerable and say this. From the time I was in my early 20s, I was 21 when I wrote Bayete, to now, it's always been clear to me that for my love for music, I have to work, right? And about 7 years ago, I got into the skills and development space, specifically running learnerships, facilitating and assessing, and then to the point of getting to the other side when I was doing business development. I need to remind myself that it pleased a diverse God to create a diverse people, because what I've seen, my heart bleeds. The future of young black people being toyed with by good white Christians. Good white Christians. And when I engage and say, but you're being flippant with the lives and the future of young black people, being told to go to my EFF meeting when I've never, not once, been a party-carrying member of any... There's a political party I love. There are political parties that I think are for us, including the EFF.
Including
but
the
I
ACDP?
never that. Never that. Never in a... Like, if you are a black person, don't ever vote for the ACDP.
Sure.
Ever.
But they speak our Christian values.
Whose Christian values? Who?
Yours.
No, not mine.
Oh,
John Steinhazen's Christian values. That's who they're talking about, not mine. They're talking about Bas John's Christian values. That's who they're talking about.
They speak peace.
Cheap peace. They address the wounds of my people as if they are nothing. They speak peace, peace when there is no peace. What do you mean? There are gunshots. I'm from Orange Farm.
Yeah.
We hear gunshots every night. Every night. I can't be speaking about peace. What peace am I talking about?
Much. So, are you telling me the Christian input in government and governance as a whole ended in, was it 1995 with the TRC Commission?
Oh, don't get me started on the TRC.
Is that where our intervention was, our footprint? Is that where it was last felt? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Are you sure Ubabu Tutu was the one chairing the meeting, the TRC?
And good for him, and his grandchild was able to get just 1 million from Balegalete, just a young meter. There was a reason why we had to subscribe to cheap peace. But do you know who was a Christ follower and was a Christ follower till God called their home?
Yeah?
Mam Winnie Matikizela Mandela. I'm telling you, I'm not asking. She was a Christ follower.
Really?
Yes. She was a member of the Methodist Church of Southern Africa. She was a Christ follower.
Bob Tutu and you don't...
He's also a Christ follower.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying...
I'm not here to... Don't give me the role of black church. That's black church's role, to decide who's in and who's out.
Yeah.
My thing is whose faith conviction has led to the improvement of the lives of many and not just some.
No, but I hear you. But I'm saying Bob Tutu, what he did is, that was his offering to chair the TRC. Doesn't matter what we think of the TRC at that time or now, but that was his.
So my question to you is: you've been saying South Africa is a Christian country,
yes.
and it does rub me a certain way, because the person who said it and it made sense was that other billionaire that talks a lot, but I won't mention his name. Like, we are a Christian nation when it comes to us betraying our own interests.
Okay, let me ask it this way. Maybe you did answer, but I'm what is the church's role in the new democratic South Africa? Let's take it deeper and say, what is a black church's role in the new South Africa?
Okay, I will say this. The church's role, black church's role, whether in the new or even before, has always been equipping the saints for the work of ministry. And I grew up in the Assemblies of God. To just show you that what happens when the leader is tuned in. Obabeng says, we're not going to ask for funding from outside. What we're going to do is we're going to equip our women and give them skills. They're gonna, club together, learn how to sew, create this material, sell it so that the gospel can be spread. The church has always been to equip, not just to take. Your church building can't be closed on a Monday when we struggle with so much youth unemployment. You can't be far from us wanting to create our own industry in a country where we've been closed out of these industries for hundreds of years, and you are far from that, and yet all you want to do is just to take tithes. There's no ways, right? Like there is no ways that you are not bothered by 60% youth unemployment. You are saying these young people should not sleep around, but you're not empowering them to actually get, you understand? Like the church's responsibility, black church's responsibility. Who do you think came up with liberation theology? It was it was black Americans who received the gospel as slaves. But something happens when they push, like something happens though, when they land in the Americas. They were able to create jazz. They were able to create blues music. In fact, like, I love hymns, I really do. And there's one, like there are a number of hymns that are very dear to my heart. So, what a friend we have in Jesus. I'm looking at this and someone says sentimental gospel. I'm like, okay, it comes from a while. I'm like, what's the sentimental gospel? I search. And then I look, there is a whole host of black American women in before Jim Crow and during Jim Crow who were writing songs, like bringing the piano into the church. Or there's this lady, I forgot her name, who actually created rock and roll. You understand?
Was it a black woman?
A black woman, yes.
Rock and roll is from...
Yes.
Too much.
Including country music. The banjo comes from the continent. In fact, I share that like 80% of the instruments we have today were created in Egypt. Fact.
I've learned something new, but in defense of the black church is trying. I've seen black churches now, churches have got social media pages. When they go give out food parcels, they go to impoverished communities and they give them food parcels, school shoes. In winter, they give blankets. They've got, what they call it? Soup kitchen, where they give, but they take pictures. But is that not enough?
Give back.
But that's what they're doing.
Listen, you just had me at give back.
Yeah.
Not creating a social impact, no. Giving back. Man, and who wait. If you check that is right at the doorstep of whiteness, that black people deserve crumbs in tsala and not the fattened meat.
But you cannot forget and ignore the fact that black churches are still struggling churches. A lot of them, they can't even put together money for... Buying a keyboard for some churches is still a big thing. So, is this not a step in the right direction?
Okay, let me I hear you, and this is what I want to say. Why this bugs me so much is because, Chief, my parents and I moved when I was 3 years old from Soweto to Orange Farm, which was an informal settlement. There was not a single brick building anywhere. It was just shacks. My church, Orange Farm Assemblies of God, was a shack for a long time. But you see, we were building. We were building together, and our ambition had a time frame. Clubbing together, raising the money was part of that. To the point where we got the structure, we celebrated, yay, we have the structure. Then we were like, okay, what can we pay for? What don't we need to pay for? I was there, Makujwa, foundation of that basilica. And I saw that when we club together and unite towards a common purpose, maybe not today, But there's going to be a generation that will not know that. My niece does not know that our church used to be, that their church, because now I go to a different church, used to be Ibandla Lomkhukhu. Imagine if we did that for the entire community. Imagine if we opened up, let me show you, like, if we opened up our basilicas and just said, what we're going to contribute to is free Wi-Fi. You want to apply for a job? Come through. We will help you with your CICP stuff. We will help you with your business planning stuff. We will help. Imagine if, but we are not even at that place because we are still drunk on the gospel of empire and dominance. Like that, even the denominations, we have no skin in the game. I don't care if you are Catholic or Church of England. All of that was happening in Europe. I have no skin in the game. What I care about is that you look like me and I look like you. And so I see you, then see me. But what have we done?
So, wait. Hey, you're going too deep, man. So, but I hear you in saying, you know what, there's a pastor who once said to me, is that but the core responsibility of the church?
Core responsibility?
When I said, I was making an example and I said, but you can't have a worship leader singing in front of people. You can see the shirt is torn, but no one feels witty. No man, let's buy this, and then. But when you question it, but no, the fact that you saw it, it means you must do something about it, and
that is James Madison.
That is not the responsibility basically of the church. If you saw it, meaning me, I must then do something about it. What the core responsibility of a church is?
Well, I see that. Because, like, I'm opening scripture now.
Yeah.
Right? At some point, describing the members of the first church, you could not tell apart whose clothes belonged to who. There was no lack amongst them. Why is that? In fact, I just want to go there now. Like, Luke, right? Luke 3. A voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way of the Lord, make straight the paths for him. Every valleys shall be filled in, every mountain and hill made low. The crooked roads shall become straight, the rough ways smooth, and all people will see God's salvation. And all people will see God's salvation. John said to the crowds coming out to be baptized by him, you brood of vipers, who warned you to flee from the coming wrath? Produce fruit in keeping with repentance, and do not begin to say to yourselves, we have Abraham as our father. For I tell you that out of these stones, God can raise up children of Abraham. The axe is ready at the root of the trees, and every tree that does not produce good fruit will be cut down and thrown into the fire. 10. What shall we do then? The crowd asked. John answered, anyone who has 2 shirts should share with the one who has none.
Hey, I know.
Anyone who has food should do the same.
So there shouldn't be classes. But in terms of the kingdom principles,
it's upside down. It's not about red bottoms and things, because things are exactly that, things. There is one who gives us hope that goes beyond tomorrow. Like there is one who sees us. There is one who reaffirms that we are made in the image and the likeness of God.
While you are there, I need to go to the next point now. I don't even know what to say after that one. So now, what do you say of pastors who endorse politicians? Okay, let me ask it this way. Is the pulpit a holy ground? When election period is coming, should pastors be allowed to bring politicians to come and canvass or talk about a certain political party and. The pulpit, is it sacred for just God's work?
Don't teach a message that disempowers me. A message that says I should not engage with what's happening in society. And then when it comes to election year, open up the doors for the very same people who are betraying my interest.
Please say
To
that again.
eat.
Please say that again.
You are teaching that politics is a dirty game, that Christians should not engage in politics. So that's why we never really go there. That's been what you are teaching me. And never mind that there's a place where it comes from. But when it comes to election year, the very people who betray my interest as a black person so that they can eat and plunder are going to come inside the church and convince people that we should give them our vote so they can continue to eat. Because career politicians have 5 years. And in that 5 years, they must eat as much as they can because it might change in the following 5 years. Imagine now if you're like former member of parliament, our perfect wedding.
He's out of a job.
Look, he's out of the He is. He is. Right? And
so are you saying it's wrong for particularly that space, that sacred space, that the pulpit? Pastors should not allow politicians to come. Okay, I'm saying this because I saw Fikile Mbalula at the Orlando Stadium for Grace, and I saw Mbuyiseni Ndlozi at what Hope of something, the Chapel of Grace or something like that, and I was looking at these pastors giving these politicians a platform. And I'm not gonna lie, I was happy. I was like, okay, finally, pastors are encouraging Abazalwane to vote. So I took it from that context. Do you think that's the right way to go?
It's always been happening, Mdana Sakai. Every election year, they'll go to churches. I'm just saying, in terms of how I've framed specifically Black Church, it's such a disservice. And I'm not looking at the pulpit like, this is holy, this is... when 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am. That's what I view as holy and unholy, right? Because even that, like you guys being troubled by the Roman basilicas and not understanding that people met in their homes. Like people met in their homes. And when 2 or 3 gather in Christ's name, there he is. But like, you can't disempower people and then open up to the ones who are actually going to come in, especially the ruling party, right? And I do own my biases when it comes to, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, for instance, right? Because,
Your blood is red.
No, not because my life. No, I'm not the one who will say my vote is a secret. My vote is not a secret. I voted for ATM.
ATM? Africa Transformation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I know movement, Farat. I'm not.
Was it because of the Christian values?
I just find Zungula to be very impressive.
Oh, all right, cool. So just to close off politicians on the pulpit, my biggest issue is I feel like as a pastor, if you've got this role that you can put a politician on the pulpit. I don't know if it's holy or I don't know, but I'm just saying if you're going to do that, then you must give way to all the political parties. You can't choose one. I can't say now the ANC or the EFF or the whatever must be the one coming. So already I'm biased as a pastor, and we know how much influence pastors have. So when you're going to start saying no, this political party can come, but when you can't, I feel like the pastor has made a decision.
My thing for me, even before the politicians, I can't get over how disempowering the gospel that is pushed by a Black church is. You step into the building and already you can see there are those special chairs. You know them. Like it tells you. Futhi manje, like we've graduated from them being in the front. They are now on the stage. From there down there to being on the stage, and that gospel is disempowering. It takes from the kingdom. It does not edify anything from the kingdom. It's self-serving. It's self-seeking. Like you are important. You are claiming your importance as if you are the head of the church, when Christ is the head of the church. And otherwise, you are no different to the religion of empire.
But I'm saying, wisithunywa senkosi, they must carry your Bible, you know.
No, that's not what Jesus teaches. He says, if you want to be great, serve. Serve. Not have titles. Not have titles. Let me show you. I want to come to the government of national unity. No, I want us to just chill. I want to show you something.
Yeah.
Government of national unity. Right? Look at the government of national unity. Never mind that. Literally, it's a spit on our faces. This
As
unity.
black people?
Yes.
Okay.
Never mind that. Let me show you, right? Look at the demands of the party Gogo.
Yes. All the
It's about positions.
yeah.
Nothing has been said there about service. Absolutely zero has been said about service. Right? Look at the people who are members of parliament from inside Gogo, and then look at Umkhonto we Sizwe, look at the EFF. I don't know if it's true or not, but having Fred Shibambu as Minister of Finance, check his credentials. Yes.
I get mad. They say VBS he stole.
Where are the charges?
No, I'm just
We
saying-
don't talk anything outside of charges. Like, we don't talk anything if it's not in the criminal court, if it's in the courts. We're not doing that. We're past that.
Yeah.
We watched that happen to Brian Mulife and we said nothing. We watched that happen to Machelo Koko and we said nothing. We watched that happen to Lucky Montana and we said nothing. We watched Jacob Zuma being taken to prison for failing to appear at the commission. And we said nothing.
Was that not right?
It was not right, Chief.
But if
No buts.
No, but-
I'm not. But there's no but here. I'm not even going to give you room to say but, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna give me what the media is saying.
No, it's not what they mean. I'm asking about me. If a judge says I must come and appear, and I say I don't want to, do they have a right to lock me up?
Okay, let's pause.
Yeah.
Commission, appearing in court.
But there
Are
was
those
a
the same
judge.
thing?
But that's why I
No.
said if a judge.
Yeah, but like there's a judge there. Language is important. It's important to acknowledge language matters. Words matter. If it was going to have long dashingana because there's a judge, then we would not have been calling it a commission. No one has ever been taken to prison for failing to appear in a commission. It only happened here, and no one said anything. We just thought, it's fine, it's okay. We're not doing that anymore. No, hold on. I want to
Okay.
show you another thing. To date, Brian Mulife has not been charged. Brian Mulife ended load shedding for 3 years. And then we gave it to a competent white man. And what happened? What happened? Things we've never known. Load shedding, industries are dying. Amapia Mam Quineth ayashisa be. And I know you don't care because Bazalwane and stuff, but industries are dying. There's a guy there with his internet cafe, gas. It's not working.
Because of electricity.
You understand? We need to stop this thing of being easy target and being convinced by whiteness and white monopoly capital and white media to vote against our interest. Most of our Bazalwan, you know, when you ask me where did the DA get the bulk of its votes? Me, I know, but you won't like the answer.
Say it, please.
From our people.
From black people?
Yeah, no, from specifically Tina Bazalwan.
Hey, why would Abazalwane vote for
Because
DA?
we are the first. Why would Kenneth Musho say all the things that he's saying, knowing what he knows? Why is Kenneth Musho against Triple BEE?
But he's got his reasons. But he also says replacing white with black doesn't solve the problem.
No, I'm telling you.
He says
now,
the reason why we've got load shedding.
No. The reason we've got load shedding is because we listened to white-controlled media that talked about Saxon worshiping instead of looking at the facts. We believed that the Guptas are the ones who have captured this country when this country has been captured long ago. If I were to ask you who paid for the study, for the fees of Archbishop Tutu when he was studying, who paid? Go do your own research and check there who paid for
Please
his
tell
studies.
us. Who
No,
paid?
I'm not going to tell you. Go do your own research and see who paid for his fees. I can't go to
Straight. Okay, let's go through the parties quickly, right? Through the parties, the top 5, right? You get the African National Congress. Ne? See, this brother here is a card-carrying member, so let's not call him by name. With the 40-odd% they got, is it a true reflection, according to you?
Incriminate because some of the views I have are before the courts, you know, and so I don't even want to go there. Because the other thing is, for me, it's because as I was when we started, right? Like when I started thinking about it and then thinking about it, I realized that it's a cop-out for me who's a Christ follower to lay all the blame at the feet of politicians. When I've been part of the church, when I've been part of a Christian faith that was used to actually plunder and pillage and take resources from my people. And not only that, that was used to create anonymity between me and my other African brothers. So now we define ourselves not we define ourselves by saying when we are hlabi, that's how we define ourselves. And when kunomsebenzi anywhere emantimandeni, I've never been. Do you know how painful that is? And then when we go to these spaces, these sacred spaces of our people, we're like shouting at the top of our lungs, bruh, help. Do stuff like we're all together. Maybe transport a man's, maybe help with the slaughtering. But stop telling us that you don't eat food that has been spoken. You understand? Without even understanding that that's not even us. You're confusing the Roman Empire. You're confusing the culture of Rome to that of ours. We don't have many gods. We have one God. We've always had one God.
Hey, we vula kakhulu manje. That question was, do you think the votes were a true reflection? Hey, Safika, inyamene khulumele. Hey, boss, please give this guy a tissue lap. Uyavuta lo baba lo. Vuta malanga.
I'm like, give me an argument, chief. Don't tell me about Mutona. What do you understand or not understand in this space?
Sure.
You're gonna use caricatures? Caricatures.
Are those tongues?
No, they're not tongues. Okay.
All right.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Do you think the ANC will recover from the current where they are right now? Do you think they'll recover?
It breaks my heart to say this, but I don't think Lombuto will recover. It breaks my heart to even say it, because never once did I think I'll not vote for the African National Congress.
Huh?
I've always known who's for me. John Langal Balele Dube is not foreign to me. It breaks my heart. And it breaks my heart because I understand that coalition governments are not stable by far. If you look at those ones who are genociding people there, and you say, what's the word? You align with Israel. Oh, Black Church. You align with Israel and not see the brown babies, Gaza, being bombed for nothing. Those ones don't have a stable government. There was a year where they had 3 elections in 1 year. Whose agenda are you going to push in a country that is not stable? Have you seen Johannesburg? Have you seen how the city has been like ever since Jesus landed? Have you seen? Have you seen how Tshwane is like ever since Jesus landed? All of that are results of coalition
Remember to Jesus, wait a minute.
Remember, the ANC would say they will rule till Jesus comes back, and then Jesus landed and the metros went. It's funny, right? But it's actually sad.
You're talking about the blue-eyed white Jesus.
Oh yeah, that the one I don't recognize. It's actually sad. You know why it's sad? Because Joburg is now a shadow of its former self. Where's Tshwane? Tshwane. And who is this one that is refusing to accommodate and run a proper coalition government? I can tell you it's the DA.
So the DA is a racist party?
It is. Excuse me.
Hey!
Excuse me.
So
let's
wait.
cut that. The Democratic Alliance is a racist party. There's never been a time where we have an open opportunity society where people are given opportunities on the basis of merit and not race.
Sure.
You are a racist party. And to show you that it's a racist party, they take their best amongst us. Lindiwe Mazibuko is not brilliant.
Yeah, she is brilliant.
Musi, my man, not Musi. Musi, my man, brilliant.
But at least
that Ntuli girl, brilliant. And they're not just backed up by their skin pigmentation, They have qualifications. What does John have other than just a metric and his whiteness? Okay, well, it's the metric. I don't know whether it's there or not.
Yeah. All right. Let's ask do like ANC, but at least ANC in a BE when it comes to booking gospel musicians. I saw Andan is dancing with the president. They're trying, so the church should support them.
No.
Right?
And here's why.
Why?
Local government plays a very critical role in empowering and making sure that SMMEs also get to be part of this economy that they were closed out of. Local government plays a critical role in ensuring that people who live in the second economy that Thabo Mbeki spoke about also have access. But you know what has happened? That space has been taken over by business forums that are not business forums. Those spaces have been taken over by comrades who are not about the empowering of black people, but they just are there to eat.
Sure. I've heard you. Let's go to the DA. It didn't really grow. I think it kind of stayed. So you did say DA is a white party, right?
Yeah,
after white interests.
But like, why are we talking about the DA even?
No. I'm sure.
No. I'm saying for us to even talk about, like, it's a rhetorical question.
Do you know why? Because it's important to talk about. I regard DA as a white party, right? As Christians, we fellowship with these people. We go to CRC, we go to Rema, if we go to
We are church.
Yes, we are church. White people are fellowshipping together.
Yeah.
You know, they said we must just forget about the past. Let us, And somebody once asked that if white people don't want to give us the land, but they can give us this eternal glory that is promised at the end, And which one is more important? The eternal riches or the small land? Why can't they give here?
But now you see why it was important for me to give context and frame it, because the gospel I subscribe to is not that of Constantine's gospel.
Ne?
I don't subscribe to Constantine's gospel.
Can a white...
You asked this question before.
Yes. Can a white person lead a black person to Christ?
Yeah.
Can they?
They can.
Even with the land behind them?
Let me tell you something, right? The reason why I'm still like a fervent Christ follower is that it's not because like the gospel came in and said we are God's children. No, we've always been like the unwanted stepchildren of God that Steve Biko talks about. That's always been the case. But the gospel has because it has power, it was able to change my father's life. That changed my life. There are so many people that I absolutely respect whose journey began with the transformative gospel of the kingdom of God that made them go, this is not right, including Bears Not Yet. Right? But I don't, like, you understand, I don't subscribe to a blacks only, whites only gospel. No, it pleased the diverse God to create a diverse people. And that's why when we get to the other side of heaven, he does not take that away. In fact, one of the things that saved my life was that song, Malibongwe. And I hated it. I'm like, why should we change our style to suit them? But it changed my life because I have friends across racial lines where I can say what I need to say with no fear or favor. Without fear or favor. I'm like, hey, we want our land. I once said that in a congregation that is packed with white people. I said it.
We want our land?
Yeah.
Hey, we have voter, man.
I said it. Why should we not?
So tell me something. Do you think the DA split the black vote to get us landing where we are right now?
See, to understand that, we're going to have to take a step back.
Okay.
And please bear with me.
Yeah.
How much money did the Democratic Alliance receive?
I heard it's millions, eh?
And how much money did the IFP receive?
Somebody said 15?
20.
20, okay.
And counting.
All right.
We know from which source, right?
But the IFP has always been getting money from the National Party.
I love how you're saying that because you messed up my notes when I was like, when they were framing the first government of national unity, there were a number of different interests there, including the black on black state-sponsored violence. I'm not going to name names. Right, but like this is what I want to say, right? There were other actors at play who had skin or have skin in the game that made sure that these elections were coming from were not free and fair, including the reporting from the media houses. What do you mean that you're not going to play J.J. Tabane's interview with Ubab Gedlehlekisa, Jacob Zuma, and give political reasons, but you're playing that one of Rise Mzansi? This is what democracy looks like.
But who owns the media houses?
Who owns?
It's my point.
It's white people.
Yes, so...
But then what happens is, us as self-respecting black people, don't interrogate, you see? We just watch, you see? It's ENCA, and they say, and then we just watch. But we never, like, interrogate. And even if we do, every time, there's somebody who created, what's this? There's somebody who created fraudulent stuff, and they happen to be white. And then they say a gentleman from Bloemfontein, but we know they're white.
They're white.
And then we have to go, where's their picture? Where's their picture? Where's their picture? Whereas when it's been done by...
black.
You understand? Yeah. And for any democracy to thrive, for any democracy to function, the citizens must be informed. And the citizens are not informed. Correctly.
Yeah, right.
There are pockets that are biased towards a certain narrative. There's a narrative in this country that has persisted for hundreds of years. It's worse now in the democratic space.
Correct.
Of swart gevaar.
So now, the DA does it book gospel artists?
I don't know, and I don't care. All I know is that they are not for black people.
All right. I heard you speak proudly, Mobaba. Let's go to Baba. So the MK party, the new kid on the block, they were dubbed the new kid on the block because they came and surprised everyone. Is it a revengeful party? Is it a party that came, is it a tribalistic party? Is it because of revenge?
I take exception to both those questions because there's something that informs those questions.
Yeah.
And I will leave the revenge alone and actually talk about the tribalistic part. I take exception to that. And here's why. Because of the state-sponsored violence, black-on-black violence, KZN as a province was not safe. Even post-94, it was still rough. Fente, one of the political scientists, the books I was using, brings this point and says that it was, now when an Afrikaner says it was the intervention of Jacob Zuma that made 2004's elections from 2004 onwards, we never had the unrest. Right? But then...
Until he had to go to prison.
Yeah, but there were a number of things. Julius Malema had been warning you people, had been warning us people.
About anarchy.
About a revolution that will be leaderless because people are hungry. So we are hungry, one. Two, the one person who's actually for us, you take that person to prison for what?
Was he really for us?
Yeah. Come on, somebody, let me show you. Right.
Okay, why did you vote for him, Gay?
I didn't vote for Obaba because I was long impressed by Uzungola before.
Okay, cool.
But I want to show you something. Who's the leader of the MK party?
Now Shop is the Dr. Shop.
Yes, please, let's call him Dr. Shop.
Oh, just did.
Yes, it's important. But let me show you. Do you know that in 2005, Judge Shlope lodged a complaint of racism against the judges in Cape Town High Court? That the outgoing Chief Justice had to lodge a investigation.
Yes.
And then somehow,
yes.
One of the most brilliant. For me, the parties that are worth entertaining, if you are about black people and black interest, are only three. Well, four. Well, the major ones.
ATM?
It's EFF.
Oz.
ATM.
Oz.
Umkhonto weSizwe. Of course, PAC, because PAC has always. It's just that we've never
ANC.
Trusted. Not who?
ANC.
Who?
ANC.
Oh, wait.
All right. Let's move. Okay. Babu Jacob Zuma has been president for 10 years.
9.
Wow. 2 terms.
Yes.
I'm keeping it. Okay. For 2 terms. Yeah, and then before that, he was the deputy. 15 years in government. What can he do now that he couldn't do in 15 years? In his elderly stage, in his sickly stage, because that's a card he used to get out of prison, and then with the support of predominantly Zulu people. What does he have to offer South Africa?
Let's just fix that. It's not the support of predominantly Zulu people.
But the majority...
Hold on. if we keep saying that, we are reinforcing those who are pushing divide and conquer.
No, but
it's important.
Guys, it's very important to also talk about where is the constituency coming from.
But yes, of course, the constituency is going to come from KZN, but it's beyond that. Is Brian Molefe Zulu?
No, it's not.
Is Lucky Montana Zulu?
No, they're not.
Is Machelo Koko Zulu?
No, but you're not comparing apples with apples.
No,
I'm talking about the leader.
Let me tell you what I mean. Who appointed Brian Molefe to ESCOM?
Zuma.
Who appointed Lucky Montana? To Transnet?
No, I get it. No, but now we're not talking about.
No, I'm answering your question.
I'm talking about.
I want to show
in terms of voting.
I'm answering your question. We're not going to divide. We're not going to use a line of divide and conquer that is used by white media to divide us as black people.
All right, fine. I'll give you that.
This is what we're going to like.
Okay.
In the time that he was president of this country. Never mind that Maria Ramos were manipulating the rand. Never mind the fact that all the rating agencies were at some point at junk status at some point, right? You must check how much was a liter of petrol. Excuse me. When you congregated with old white women saying Zuma must fall. Since when have white people marched for the interest of blackness? I don't remember. Remind me. Maybe I missed it. It's never happened.
It's never happened.
So now when they march, whose interest are they pushing? Is it
because they should be marching now for Babu Ramaphosa.
You understand?
Things are dire now.
You understand? Like we at some point had to pay 27 rands per liter. No one said anything. I waited for the rating agencies. I'm still waiting. You understand? Like the law of the land says you've committed a crime, but the journalists, all of a sudden we don't have investigative journalists. We don't have anymore. We had plenty more. Now we don't have at all. So $1 can be stored as often, but no one is investigating anything. Come on, guys. Can we be critical thinkers?
So tell me something. Yes. What does the MK stand for then?
Umkhonto.
No, but elaborate. How buff?
Umkhonto. It stands for
meaning.
Like, the reason
for the person who doesn't understand what Umkhonto is.
It was the military wing of the ANC.
Yeah.
But like, the reason why the reason why I needed this framing, we were going to land at that space where we talk about the big tent of the African National Congress, where you had people from the far left representing leftist ideologies, right? Like Ubab Krisani, right? Who was leading what? Umkhonto Wesizwe. What did they do with Ubab Krisani? They killed him. They silenced him. It was important to silence him. You know who else was silenced? Epila, who was also agreeing with this leftist side of the African National Congress? Umamwini Madikizela Mandela.
Yes.
They silenced her, Epila. She was rejected by her own comrades, including the one who experienced the struggle in the UK. Epemi Pape, supposedly one of the best presidents we ever have in this country, to ever come out of this country. So this ideological difference within the African National Congress has always been there. So Umkhonto Wesizwe does not come from a vacuum. Umkhonto Wesizwe is there to represent the interest of those who had been saying we need the landless people to be given their land. Those who were actually overseeing to the activities of comrades like Andrew Zondo. Do you know Andrew Zondo? Right? Who was hanged by Tony Leon's father, by the way.
Who was a judge, yes, you're right.
Yes.
So I'm saying to you, I hear everything you said. I'm saying Babu Zuma has been there basically for 2 times as a president, 3 times as a deputy. What can he possibly change now?
Yeah. So one, look at the brilliant minds that are leading Umkhonto Wesizwe.
But wait. Let me stop you there.
No.
Dr. Shope would not be there if he was still on the bench. That's one. If he was not impeached, he wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And if we're going to talk about the long list of the MK, hey, those people are...
Come. Let's Sondel. Because I'm not gonna capitulate to propaganda of white monopoly capital. That's not happening, my friend.
But you can't defend.
No, hold on. If you want us to engage in Dr. Shope, right? Because that's an episode on its own.
Yes.
Right. We can actually just agree with it. You view it this way. I view it as a political trial. That was a political trial.
No. I'm not.
It was
I'm not saying
forever
it's right.
political
how he
trial.
got impeached. I'm not saying he should have been impeached or not. But I'm just saying,
So-
if he was still on the bench, if he was not impeached right now,
Yes.
he wouldn't be with the MK party.
You know what's
Even he
interesting?
said in an interview that
Yes.
would he choose to be a member of parliament or on the bench? He said, "I'd love to be on the bench."
Let me tell you. You know what's interesting
Yeah.
with that? Yes, we are so obsessed with Judge Shope, who's no longer on the bench, and yet we say nothing to all those political animals who are judges masquerading as independent, unbiased judges. We say nothing about the transformation of our judiciary.
No.
Nothing.
You missing. My point is, you said, "Did you see who's on the leadership of MK?"
Yeah.
And I had to start with the head, with his brilliant mind,
Yeah.
Dr. Shope. And I'm saying, Dr. Shope, if she was not impeached, she wouldn't be of the
So
MK.
semantics, right?
Eh?
Because I'm talking about what is now facts.
Okay.
He's now the leader of
Yes,
the
he's now
MK
the
party.
leader. Yes.
And I've listened to him enough times to know that now the interest of black people when it comes to land, let's not touch on anything else. When it comes to land, now the interest of black people are going to be part of the agenda. Yeah, they don't have right now the majority,
Yep.
but we can't be talking about something like it's been 30 years and we've done nothing on the issue of land.
100%. So, okay, I think we've delved enough with the MK party. I'm still not clear in terms of what they can give us, but I don't know. We'll see. I still have my reservations about a couple of things, but let's go to the EFF, the African Nation, the Economic Freedom Fighters, led by Juju. Do you think? I think you've answered me, ne? Do you think their votes are a true reflection of what's supposed to be?
I want to talk about reflection or not,
yeah.
but I'm like, it's my hope, it's my silent dream that that party grows.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Were there policies of foreigners, their downfall in this election?
Because we don't understand that the borders, one, are wide open to, like, there's
no borders.
There's no African who's going to be a foreigner in the continent of Africa. That whole divide and conquer thing still does not serve us. And three, actually, it's not with the EFF, the whole issue of exploiting our brothers and sisters as cheap labor. It's always been with whiteness and white people. Whoa. And if you don't believe me, check what happened. That building there in George, right? Go
that
check.
Collapsed, yeah.
Go check. I have a recording that I can play for you now, where I used to stay. I overheard the guy who works there calling them the landlord master. And when I addressed the stuff, so much came up. He's white, and the gentleman is from Luveve in Zimbabwe. And when you start understanding that it serves the interest of whiteness to have cheap labor and pit black people against each other so that we don't see, they don't have to pay minimum wage. They don't have to pay UIF. They don't have to, you understand? You know what he said, that gentleman? He said that's not even his name. After he did not know, because there's a name that your parents give you, but there's a nickname that whiteness is going to give you because they're going to fail to call you by the name that your parents have called you.
Sheeple.
The people who are for the land, but the people who are supposedly African but can't say one African word or name. You understand? And then he then says this. He's not even South African. He's from Zimbabwe. I can play it now if you want. Now, right now, I can play it. You understand? So who's behind the divide and conquer? Of course, empire was made up of 75 to 80% slaves. So they are obviously, they love cheap labor. They love cheap labor. So it's not about the EFF, but it's about the unquenchable thirst of empire to get cheap labor. And in this case, empire looks a certain way. It's a settler colony. Yeah, don't get me. Let's just continue.
Do you think Juju is the right person for the job? Still with the EFF?
He's got the mandate of the people of the EFF. He's got the mandate of the party, right?
No,
He's the
100%.
right person for the job.
According to your observation and understanding.
He's got the mandate of the party. He's the right person for the job.
So, till recently, the focus for me was Julius Malema. I've always known of Ndlozi. I've always known of Floyd. Hey, but Floyd is smart, eh?
Yebo.
That guy is smart, guys.
All of them.
I think, not all of them, but that guy in particular.
Yeah.
Like, I've taken my time in listening to his... because now he got that attention after they said they would like to make him Minister of Finance. And I was like, what? I've been betting on the wrong horse. That guy is smart. But do you think he'd really crack it as a finance minister?
Yeah, he would. He would crack it. He would.
No.
Now, like, as I'm answering this, I would be amiss if I don't bring in the other elephant in the room. And that is the global political structures and what's happening globally. Yes. Because we don't have Mandela being released without the fall of the Soviet Union.
100%.
And right now, there's whether you would call it the new Cold War or moving towards the Third World War. But what's happening there with China, Russia, and the BRICS nation, and many nations joining BRICS, including Saudi Arabia. Nobody would have thought Saudi Arabia would want to, and the abandoning of the dollar.
Yeah.
The USA is not going to sit idle by and say, hey, you understand? Yeah. And so going back to also the interference in our elections, there was plenty of interference in our elections because Western democracies are about democracy for them, but not for the quote-unquote third world.
Third world. So now tell me, ANC, he was minister of, for the longest time, minister of
electricity,
health. Aaron Motsoaledi is a doctor. Yes. Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi.
Yes.
The fact that he was a doctor didn't mean he could make the health sector function. What makes you think Floyd, with all his master's degrees in will make the finance tick? Because politics operational, or are they supposed to give guidance?
So we have a political head, two political heads, and then after that we have administrators. Your director general is an administrator.
Yeah.
So you have a bunch of administrators under those political heads.
Correct.
I like your question. I would have loved the question to be asked when Pravin Gordhan was also finance minister. That would have been great. But having said that, obviously there's more to just the person studying the specific ministry they're part of. That there are a number of factors there. What's the direction of that political party and the likes, and I really believe that Floyd, given his educational background and just how intelligent and solid he is, that he would do a great job.
Really? Okay, we need to run now, ne? So the other thing I love about the EFF is how they book gospel artists.
That's my homeboy.
No. You see, Dr. Dumi, Nezimu, Omega, Winnie Mashaba. Hey, the list goes on.
Have you heard Dr. Ndlozi sing?
Yes. He's got pipes, that man.
Yes.
And the fact that he what do you call it? He supports the arts. You know, if you check his stage setups, the excellence around it, you know, he speaks obviously to my sector, which is, you know, so for that I give them a tick, and he built a church as well, and he named it after his mom or grandmother, somewhere there. So he's a big supporter of gospel. So for the gospel sector, I feel like gospel musicians are gigging, and from what I hear, he doesn't negotiate, especially with gospel artists. Good, okay, but it's just a rally, you know. He pays the actual fee. That's why I like him. And then we go to, what do you call it? Then we go to PA, Patriotic Alliance, you know. Abambe. Okay, and I want to go quickly, ne?
Yeah.
So the only issue I've got with the PA is, it's not an issue, but it's a thought that's lingering in my head. I don't know how to get it out there, you know. Man, guys.
Can I help?
Okay, please help.
Okay. And I'll say it this way. What happens to a people when it was whiteness ruling, they were not white enough? And then when blackness comes, supposedly they're not black enough. Yes, there's a deep-seated anti-blackness within the colored community, as also in the Indian community. We've not even begun to unpack that. But what the Patriotic Alliance is happening, what Gayton is doing, is starting to give a voice
to the colored community.
And no matter how it looks like, it's important for the colored community to have a voice, because the first people to call themselves Afrikaner were the Greek was and the Namakwas, the colored people. They were the first ones to call themselves Afrikaner until it was taken over or stolen by the Boers. You understand? They are as African as I am African. So we've really done ourselves a disservice on a number of factors. Like there's somebody who's gonna be easily swayed, whether you're black or you're Indian or you're colored. There are people who are gonna be easily swayed by the message of divide and conquer. But when you go back and look at the writings of Steve Biko, when you look at the people he was working with, he's not excluding. In the definition of the term black, the colors are not excluded from that term. The Indians are not excluded from that term. Also, in the definition of black in triple BEE, they are not excluded. They are not.
No, I have to agree with you. He stands with, obviously, his constituencies with colored, his stronghold is colored people.
Yes.
I'll give him that tick. And then I just love how he speaks. You know, he's.
I love Gayton, man.
He doesn't care, that guy. Ne? He just says it as it is.
And I'm like, so and so is my friend. Now, I can say that. I dig it.
So, yeah, bring Jesus back to the school. I love that. I love it.
Niyasirasela, niyasifundekela. No, I must say it. Niyasirasela, niyasifundekela. Because no industry has so many people who are unsupported like the education sector. Teachers who teach in quintile 4 schools, where there's 1,600 learners, and there's 45, 60 per class, they are up to here with work.
100%.
And they need us. But the only way we think it's possible for us to partner with them is if we come in there and just say a prayer in 5 minutes, when we could be running aftercare classes, when we could be partnering, adopting schools and making sure that there are feeding schemes, that when we could be running Saturday schools. I'm not talking about things we've not done. Part of the reason I'm part of the church that I'm part of, we've been partnering with the school in Iputeng. And it was there when I saw, it was me activating my space of ministry in my church and going on a Tuesday to meet with the principal and the teachers, and suddenly I started seeing that, oh my goodness, I was so wrong. They're on their own. The teacher has to be a mother, a guardian, a nurse, a counselor. They are not even educational psychologists, not even there. There's no access of social workers, nothing.
So-
and yet we think our only contribution is Avulegi lamasango.
No.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
I'm saying to you.
Stop right there.
So I'm saying to you.
Stop that there. The harvest. Hold on. This is what I'm saying to you. The harvest is plentiful, but the labors are few. That's what I'm
100%.
saying to you. In case you don't, in case you take out anything in this conversation, throughout the theme has been the harvest is plentiful, but the labors are few. Papa mani bazalwane baka Christ. Vukani. Open air, angile, please, man.
I'm saying to you, I'm not saying prayer is the only.
And where do these open airs even come from? Let me tell you, this is the last thing I'm saying. The open airs come from the space where the bulk of Europe was illiterate. And so when now Martin Luther translates the Bible into German, they had to read it in open spaces. It was for people who wanted to hear what this gospel is, or what this gospel is of the New Testament is saying. They wanted it. It was not an invasion of someone's space.
Sure, I've heard this, man. All right, I rest my point, but I believe prayer should go back to school, because I still believe that the word of God can transcend, it can penetrate, somehow it can make a change. In all the other interventions you spoke about, yes, we do need, but I feel like prayer is also one of the important ones. You can quantify which one is more important, but I'm saying prayer. When he said that, it resonated with me, because I believe the word of God can still go, and it can still do work. Yes, the other interventions are still
as somebody
very
who led
important.
The SCO and preached first time at assembly, I'm glad they took out prayer.
Oh,
so let me tell you why.
Yeah.
You think if persecution was not there, the first church would have gone to until the ends of the earth. Would have gone to forget the ends of the earth. Would have gone to Samaria. They would not have until persecution came. So you look at this as I'm looking at, fine, like they've taken this out, but how can we partner with our communities so that the footprint of our gospel can be felt?
But all I'm saying is we can do both. Okay, I've heard you. And the last thing, about gating is, like, as much as I'm a fan of his, like, I love the guy, but are we really led by two ex-cons? Like, our country, we can't.
I was waiting for that.
We can't do better.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, pendula pen.
I know. Please don't tell me
ministry, about rehabilitation in our prisons.
That ministry is called what?
Rehabilitation.
It's called what?
Rehabilitation.
Correctional what?
Rehabilitation.
Correctional services. Yes.
But it's a rehabilitation center. Exactly, which is a rehabilitation center. It's a correctional service. N. But
Are you? Let me tell you, Chief. You see, as of experienced gospel of safety and comfort, including myself.
Yeah.
Right. Like including me, who's experienced the gospel of safety and comfort. We don't understand this verse. You know, I was in prison and you visited me. Hold on. Because fact, the way in which things work, or the way in which the government of empire works, there has been a disproportional way of overly policing black spaces and overly incarcerating black men specifically.
But anyway, I've heard you, my brother. So we're done with the PA. Let's go to ACDP.
Let's not even start.
Bosa ATM, because those are Christian party. Christian ngaphakathi. Do we need a Christian party?
We don't need a Christian party that still holds to the teachings of the Jesus of Empire.
Why do you think they're not supporting the pastors?
Have you seen what he talks about? Have you seen it? Have you?
He was here. I've heard him. Yes.
Look, a 14-year-old. I subscribe to family values. Family bonds. I suka. Wait. Like, pause right there.
Okay, say a Christian party won the elections. Are Christians and their values able to lead and run South Africa?
I would cry. It would be a sad day for me. I would cry.
Ooh.
And here's why.
Yeah.
And just quickly, I noticed, because I was unrelenting in writing music in my language, I quickly noticed that there was no space for that. That I was told by another black person that I should not free flow in isiZulu because not everyone understands in isiZulu. Yet, having spent almost 20 years in diverse spaces, in churches that are about diverse worship, I have encountered a few times where we've had to tone down the Africanness because white people are leaving the church, because we are singing a lot of African songs. We easily capitulate to the whiteness standard, especially about glory to Jesus, amen. Nina. Okay, Tina. Rejoice in the Lord, and I say rejoice, amen. Now I'm going to call Brother Frail to come, and we easily capitulate to the standard of whiteness, and anything that is African from just my language is foreign and evil and demonic.
The GNU, is it a sellout position?
Which one?
The GNU.
I don't.
Government of National Unity. Is it a sellout position? Why couldn't the ANC, EFF, and the MK party come together, make things happen? I'm not going to cut the AFP because I've got personal reservations around that. Why couldn't they do it? And why are they deciding to go with the Democratic Alliance? And John Steenhuisen is potentially about to be deputy president. Do you think it's the right way of going? Is that the will of the people?
Okay, I'm not gonna mince my words. Umuntu uma ekupikela ekubonisa ukuthi you are nothing. Ebese eyakubonisa ethatha isilonda lesesivuleke nge awufake isandla sonke a twist and no twist. That's what's being done to us as a people right now. In fact, they've been doing it for years. And now, what do you mean? They called. Do you know what happened in Phoenix? Like, do you understand that Gateway? Those people were on a national road, and he called those people who did that to black people heroes. John said that, like, repeatedly. Gog Helen said colonialism was great. Repeatedly. They are not. Do you know what was the Gini coefficient in 94? What we used to measure inequality in the society.
Yes.
We live in one of the most
unequal society in the world.
Do you understand?
But it's the ANC who chose
no.
the DA.
We're talking about the DA, and I don't. I'm telling you. Let me tell you, we're not going to justify what we know why those comrades make the decision they made. It was so that they can eat. I conquered in a tambe mlonyeni. We know that. We know that. But now I'd like to tell you to have people who have never, not once, shown that they're for the black person's interest suddenly have what is termed a government of national unity. In a country where we have proximity to one another and not real relationships. In a country where black professionals are muzzled. They can't speak. They can't speak. In a country where black professionals in that corporate space travel side by side, because there's no clear upward mobility to say, company, I started in HR, I'm moving up. No, you move to another company to be an HR don. They're going to pay you more money, but it's still the same position. In that country, you're going to talk about unity. In that country, where like anything.
But can you blame the
DA?
Hold
on. There's a way where it comes from. Just as a parting shot and as homework.
Yeah.
Go research the white man's burden. Go look at that beautiful poem of the white man's burden to civilize the barbarians like us. Go check where we are. Even in the newspaper article, we're handled like perpetual children. Beware of the doomsday coalition. We can't think for ourselves. It's a spit on our faces. And actually, more than that, it's cheapening what I believe in so much. I believe that the power of the gospel is seeing people who are not supposed to be friends becoming friends. The power of the gospel for me has been, me as a very Zulu person, to be moved to tears by Butibong Bamahlomula, Moneki Timela thing. For me to understand, Hore, Joale, ki khotse ka mehla moha wa Modimo, ki qadile ho iketla. I understand. As umageba, to say ki qadile ho iketla. Tshepong ya Modimo. To understand that bokang Modimo wa khanya. It's not supposed to be something that I'm singing, but I'm singing and it gives me life because the power of the gospel. But your gospel makes people, it only sees people who look like you. It only is good to the people who have, your same story, your same language, your gospel. So like in 1492, the population in North America was 125 million. By the time they were done, they were left with 15 million people. That's how much genocide they did in the name of that gospel, of the Jesus with blue eyes and blonde hair.
Hey, Bazalwan, Nimzule. Ponchis, do you have a question?
Yo, guys, it's 4. It's 4. No! I still need to go to the bar. Okay, I need to eat.
Yeah. Mudra, did you hear this, man?
I came at the right time.
Bona, NJ Kunene, Njabulo Kunene.
Yes.
I think you've answered me beyond words, ne? I didn't think you'll be this much fire. Here we are, Pila Buff. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the Gospel Reality Podcast. NJ Kunene came all the way from the Val at Yazin. So he came through. But Brian, thank you very much for coming. Ne? Fancy Val because we've been edited. Ne?
Yeah.
But before you go, we ask mus like I mus. No more I'm gonna give you the next one. Ne?
Please.
The Gospel Reality Podcast. Did you use this shower gel?
Chief, remember when I came? Don't make me say like the thing.
Oh, there was no sponsor.
Please, Chief. I'm telling you, you're on the upper echelons. I'm like, no, but this is what I wanted to say before I shampoo. If you are a Christ follower, to all the Christ followers, like to all of them, arise shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you. This right now, here, in the time of hopelessness, in the time where people are feeling like, what now? Sitting sidiva samadi. In this time, there's a gospel that is counterculture. There's a gospel that presents an upside down kingdom, and it's for everyone. It's for everyone. This is the time to find our place of ministry. This is the time to see quickly and go to work.
I know. Uyishayile umfana kakunene. Unamandla ndoda. Kanti nje?
Sengizongitshela kusasa ukuthi kuyisono na. Babugumbi.
But my brother, we've got a sponsor now, ne?
Yes.
Laka. At Little
I love the name.
On.
Oh, I love the name.
Uyashesha ungene emoyeni. Our sponsor Little Laka, please use it. Shower gel. You can use it also as a bath foam.
Bengifuna ukusho ukuthi phela mina okuwest edition. Shuthi lapha kule edition guys. Yes, I will apply it.
But igeza nezono. It's white as snow.
Yabona ke.
Ngiyakutshela.
Yabona.
Isiphutha lona sahouse.
Hake batlo
And Brian, I can't remember ne.
You
You were one of the first people to come to the podcast. I can't even remember. Hey, did you ever get this?
Azange athola le into.
Serious?
I'm telling you. I came with a controversial topic, and you were interested in the controversy.
No, but the brotherhood continued. The reason
I love
we're here
that.
is
I love that.
continue
I love
talking.
that.
So, my brother, you can choose anyone you like.
My favorite color is black.
Let me see. You've got the new ones here. Proverbs.
My favorite into ngizobe ngiyenza lapha yana.
So lapho ne.
Yeah.
Zwile ngawe ne savannah. Ayifaki savannah lo.
No, I don't touch savannah.
It's too sweet.
Yeah, no.
So,
Yeah,
she apart.
Please,
But it's called a hot and cold. It keeps hot things hot, cold things cold. My brother ngithi ngaleyo ne siyakubonga kodwa uyayibona nje.
Oh my goodness, this is so dope.
It's
Proverbs 27.
17. Iron sharpen iron. Ile nto siyenza namhlanje. Khalizembe.
Injob thungelwa ba.
But my brother, thank you very much.
Injob is to the advance. Let me shut up.
My brother, on a serious note, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for the invite.
You are Rishab.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, this is not the hour.
That's the hour. You are an amazing stalwart. I love your mind. I like how you think. You're the Christian Penwell.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you, my brother.
I thank you for the opportunity. You're doing amazing work. Again, let's continue as iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And produce fruits that are in line to our
Straight.
repentance.
Our next topic, me and this man, I don't know when that's going to be.
Yo, guys,
we're going to talk about dualism. But ladies and gentlemen, other than that,